temple should be built. That, of course, is problematic because most Jews don't want to destroy the Dome of the Rock.
Temple or no temple, believers cling to their timeline.
The fact that Israel is back in the land makes us think that the events that are going to take place after the rapture are being prepared.
In this apocalypse scenario, after the split second of rapture and the 7 years of tribulation, mankind lies helpless before the Antichrist. The next phase, world domination. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Revelation chapter 13, verse 7 and 8. Now, the Antichrist gathers his armies and prepares for the mother of all battles, a final showdown between good and evil. The doomsday struggle called Armageddon. According to the doomsday scenario of the book of Revelation, the Antichrist will assemble the largest army ever seen to fight the final battle. Some fundamentalists have even plotted the campaign on the map.
The Antichrist is going to call for all the armies of the world to assemble as a bivouac area to then go another 100 miles south and attack Jerusalem.
The ancient Hebrews called the area Megiddo. The book of Revelation gives it another name, Armageddon. For they are spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. A place in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. Revelation chapter 16, verse 14 and 16. The battle may be prophetic. The geography is real.
The term Armageddon comes actually from the Greek version of a Hebrew, Har Megiddo, which means mountain of Megiddo.
50 miles outside Jerusalem in northern Israel lie the ancient ruins of the village of Megiddo. For 1,000 years, Megiddo guarded a narrow pass along a trade route between the ancient kingdoms of Egypt and Assyria. For centuries, people and goods moved along this vital artery. So did armies. Philistines and Israelites, Egyptians and Persians, Greeks and Romans. Megiddo is one of the most fought-over pieces of real estate on Earth. In 1799, Napoleon brought a French army through Megiddo as he conquered Egypt and the Holy Land.
The Valley of Megiddo is a perfect place for an invasion. In fact, Napoleon said all the armies of the world would have room to negotiate, to move in this valley. He thought it would be a perfect place.
Thanks to Megiddo's strategic location, the Egyptians fought the Canaanites here in 1479 BCE. It's the first recorded battle in history. In Revelation, John claims Megiddo will also give its name to the last battle. According to believers in the apocalypse scenario, only one force stands against the Antichrist. A group of Christian and Jewish refugees who were not raptured, but who have repented.
And so then you have the armies coming south and attacking Jerusalem. And it says that there'll be a big battle there, and half of the city will be taken by the Antichrist.
To describe the battle, the author of Revelation uses coded language. I saw the horses in the vision, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Revelation chapter 9, verse 17.
Imagine that you lived in the first century where every machine was attached to an animal. A chariot was pulled by a horse and so forth. And suddenly you were transported to a place where you saw the first Gulf War. and then had to describe that using the vocabulary of a first century individual. That's why the book of the Revelation sounds so much like it's symbolic.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and they had hair as the hair of women, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots running to battle. Revelation chapter 9, verse 3 to 9.
And if you look at a picture of an Apache gunship rising up from behind a berm, you see exactly the same description.
Some believers even see a nuclear apocalypse prophesied in the cryptic words of Revelation. And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. Revelation chapter 9, verse 2. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Revelation chapter 6, verse 13 to 14. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. Believers have even created maps and battle plans based on Revelation's Armageddon. Most Bible scholars reject this scenario.
Now, these texts do assume that there will be some kind of great events that will take place, but it's imagery which is describing all of this. It's not supposed to be understood as something literal. It's supposed to be taken symbolically.
In this dark vision of apocalypse, believers see light. Just as the Antichrist seems on the brink of victory, a miracle occurs. The skies part, and the forces of God himself descend from the heavens. It is the final face-off between Christ and Antichrist. And I saw heaven opened, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war. And the beast was taken. Revelation chapter 19, verse 19 to 20. After an era of tribulation, an eternity of peace. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Revelation chapter 21, verse 1.
The new heaven and new earth takes us into eternity, and it will be a glorious age that will never see the presence of sin or wickedness again, but it will be the rule of God for eternity.
Most scholars admire the sentiment, but reject the scenario.
People want so much to see evil defeated that they believe that there's going to be some deus ex machina, God coming into history from outside. Hence, you've got this idea of an apocalypse, which is some kind of a great war, which has to come at the end of days to make possible the perfection that the religion has been pointing to all along.
To many scholars, Revelation has been misread ever since it was written.
Revelation has been especially popular among people who have been seeing the end of the world coming soon. And its imagery, being so symbolic, has often been fit to adapt to the circumstances in which we find ourselves.
Every time there were major world events, there has been a tendency to believe that this must be the time.
Till kingdom come, Revelation will be debated. Perhaps because how it was written is as mysterious as what it means. Even its author is a mystery.
We have no idea who wrote much of the New Testament. It was very common for early Jews and Christians to write in the names of famous people in the faith.
Early Christians traditionally believed Revelation was written